Today is the day to be set free from what holds you captive. Jesus holds the key. Faith is the foundation and the most important aspect of our life. Country and gospel music artist Barbara Fairchild has entertained millions with her vibrant personality, beautiful voice, love for humor, and storytelling. She's been nominated twice for the prestigious Grammy Award, one for her #1 country hit, the Teddy Bear Song, and the Lullaby for Teddy. Along with sharing Jesus, her passion and commitment to work for the veteran causes has awarded her the title she treasures, the Veteran Sweetheart. This is her story. This is today's Nashville. This is Faith. Barbara, what a blessing and honor to have you on today's Nashville. This is Faith. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. I'm glad to meet you.
Well, you know what? We kind of know each other through some people.
Yeah, we got some mutual friends.
Yes, Tanya Sykes, Goodman Sykes, and Candy Christmas.
Absolutely.
Tell me about that.
Well, I tell you, I ended up recording with them, and I'm a country singer, you know, because the Teddy Bear Song has been my signature song, so that people still love that one. We just celebrated 50-year anniversary on that song, yeah, last year. But anyway, so I had known Tanya and her husband Mike and Candy for a long time, and so they did a beautiful album with Sherry Easter, and they called their group Heirloom. And so I had lived in Texas prior and moved back to Nashville. And I would do Ralph Emery's show a lot, you know. And so I was out there, and I have a friend that, you know, worked with all the backstage stuff. And she had, just prior to doing Ralph's show that time, I'd gone out to Rusty Goodman's house, and he'd been diagnosed with cancer, but it was his birthday. And of course, that's Tanya's daddy. And met a guy named Norman Holland that was with a gospel label at that time, and it just had a nice little conversation. Well, he had an artist out at Nashville now, just a couple of nights after I had done the show, and my friend Vicki Dial said, you should record Barbara Fairchild on your label, because she really loves the Lord. And he said, I met her the other day, and I really like her. So I don't know if she gave him my number or gave me hers. So I told him, I said, I really am not interested in a career in gospel music. And I said, I got a country career. I'm not real interested in that either. And you know, I had told the Lord when I lived in Texas before I moved back, I said, I'm not interested in just like getting into a full-blown country career again. But I said, what I am interested in, Lord, is if I could be a light for you, you know, I mean, he's the light, but he can shine out in us, then I wouldn't mind getting back in music. So I prayed that little prayer. Me and Norman met, and he said that, you know, and I told him I didn't really wasn't looking to have a gospel career, and I said, I got a country career, and I'm not real interested in it. And I told him that what I had told the Lord. And he said, well, I really like you, and I'd like to do something with you, but I don't really know what it would be. Well, you know, so I left that meeting and said, he's a really nice man, but you don't really think much going to come of that. Well, he had given me this album that Sherry and Tanya and Candy had done. So I'm on my way home, listening to it. Got to crying because it was so anointed and so wonderful. I pulled off on the side of the road and sat there and cried listening to that music. And I said to the Lord, how wonderful it must be to sing songs like that about you. So when I could see to drive, I drove on home. Okay, so a few days pass, and I went out to California and done some ministry, and one of the things I did was in these friends' home. And a man was there, and he said, I don't know anything about you, but he said, I think God showed me he's going to open some doors for you in gospel music. And I said, well, that's interesting, since I had met with Norman, you know. And I get home, and I have a message to call Tanya. And so she said, now, we put this album out. They put out Prayer Warrior, and it's like a #1 record. Said, we just wanted to make a gospel album together, and now they're wanting us to travel. And Sherry said, I can't do that because I travel with my husband, Jeff, you know, Jeff and Sherry Easter. So I said, I think you should replace me before this thing gets any bigger. And so she said, so Candy and I were talking and said, who in the world would we replace Sherry with? It wouldn't diminish the group. So I said, so we prayed about it, and so would you pray about whether you'd want to be part of Heirloom? I said, no. And I heard her like, you know, and I said, I don't have to pray about this. I know this is God. Oh. And so I was able to do, you know, 2 or 3 albums with them, and get to sing those songs that they recorded even. So and eventually Norman did a solo album on me, and the ironic thing was I got a song, I didn't write it, but it was called The Light. And that's what they titled the album.
The Light.
So when I thought about my conversation with Jesus, you know, and that's what they called the album, I knew he was just making those things happen.
He gives us the desires of our hearts.
Yes, he does.
What happened after that?
I never said, like, I'm not going to do country music. I've always, because you can be a witness for the Lord, you know, and God knows that people need to hear about Jesus no matter what walk of life they're in. And so I ended up going to Branson. I got Mel Tillis wanted me to come and work at his new theater he'd built there. So I had a contract just for 1 season. I sang about 3 or 4 songs in the second half of his show, never thinking I would live in Branson. So Johnny Minnick and his wife Sherry would come in at the Willie Nelson Theater. Now y'all, Willie didn't own the theater, but a lot of these artists would make deals with the owners, and they'd put their names on it and stuff. And Willie asked Johnny if he'd come and do a Sunday service in there when he was there. Because he basically just, you know, Willie wasn't there full time, but they did other stuff. He's there every week, you know. So they come in and do this service, and then after lunch they'd leave. Well, he asked me to be a guest on there, so, and I won't get into all of the time frames, so it'd take forever.
Well, I want to talk about that too, because even when you were in Branson, you were going out to sing, but God had other plans for you too also, and we're going to talk about it when we come back. Okay.